Did it pop up again? Bro, there it is. Can you share that to the group? That's wild, man. YouTube. Shabbat Shalom, family. Shabbat Shalom. We're about to get this thing started. YouTube. Almighty YouTube. Okay. Which one of y'all sharing it? Yeah, that's wild, man. Okay. So, if you don't mind, I lead us in prayer. It's wild.
I would like to thank you for waking us up this morning and giving us the breath of life this morning to enjoy a beautiful day.
Mm-hmm.
We'd like to thank you for the wisdom that we've obtained so far and the wisdom that we're going to future receive today, Abba. Let us get into this word and soak it up and chew the cud on it, Abba. And again, thank you for waking us up. I'm so happy to be living. Truly am. It's a beautiful gift you've given me, the breath of life that you've given all of us, Abba. Thank you for the breath of life, Abba. And let us get forward through this lesson. Let us get this understanding that we need, Abba. And let us soak it up and spread the word. In your name. Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. So, we're still talking about chewing the cud, right? And today, it's more about being cloven footed. So today is all about being cloven footed. I gotta roll that down. Okay. So we're gonna start out by going over the book of Psalms, number 25. This is a prayer from the beloved of the Most High, our ancestor, in faith and in truth, David. So we're going to start there. So I'll start off. It says, "Unto thee, O Yahuwah, do I lift up my voice. O my God, I trust in thee. Let me not be ashamed. Let not mine enemies triumph over me." In this day, with everything that's going on, we have to come to the understanding that everything that's happening to the world is literally because of the atrocities of America. And we know that we were shipped from all different kinds of places throughout the world to come here. Some of us came here even before that. And there's been so many atrocities. So there's a curse that's on America, right? Because Passover is a sign this year, right? It's always a sign. But things are starting to pick up. And so now more than ever, we got to be making sure that we are clean with the Most High. We got to make sure that that our garments have been made white, that we are repenting daily, that we're dying to ourselves and these selfish ambitions daily. There's nothing wrong with being ambitious and doing things that are going to help your family and please the Most High. But we got to start changing our mind. There's got to be a paradigm shift because these things are happening for you. But if we don't do the right things, then it's going to end up happening to us. And we don't want that to happen. He says, "Yea, let none that wait on thee be ashamed. Let them be ashamed which transgress without cause." Some people just be sinning and they don't care that they're sinning. Let us not be like those people. Or let us not have that in our hearts. "Show me thy ways, O Yahuwah. Teach me thy paths." So, I'm going to ask you, what does that verse mean to you? I'm going to hit that one.
Number 4. Show me thy ways, O Lord, teach me thy paths. Like, show me the way to go. Like, show me how to walk on the street.
Come up here. Oh. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, big guy.
See, what it means to me is just show me how to walk in this truth,
So he has to give you an example to follow.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and show me the path and show me the way to walk in this truth, because we got to be able to, in everything we do, we have to be able to move in righteousness. Everything. Even though scripture says, to not lie. There's been times in Scripture where people have lied, but it was a righteous lie. Find those scriptures, because lying just to cover up something that you did bad, we already know that's not righteous. But lying to, what did they do? They did, they were looking, yeah, they was looking for somebody, trying to hunt down this righteous man, and the woman lied and said that he wasn't there when he was. That was a righteous lie, because she knew they were prosecuting him for the wrong reasons, and they were going to behead him for the wrong reasons. So yeah.
Go to the next one.
The arrow.
Yeah, just quickly. So it says, "Lead me in thy truth, and teach me, for thou art the God of my salvation. On thee do I wait all the day." So what does that verse speak to you? So it's not our truth.
No, it's his truth.
Right. So it's the truth, right?
Yeah, just the truth that not a lot of people know about. The truth that we've discovered. Like,
yeah, and it's the truth that they can't necessarily stomach. Because this whole thing about chewing the cud, it's a second digestion.
yeah.
So and it says teach me, so that means you have to be coachable.
Mm-hmm.
Everything always comes back to effective communication. The Most High, he don't want nobody that he can't lead, that won't follow him, that thinks that they're right in their own eyes. Because in their own eyes, they can save themselves.
Yeah, because we have to be able to humble ourselves. That's where humbling ourselves come from. Like, we have to be able to know and accept that we're not going to always be right in this.
Yes.
We won't know the whole truth and everything because there's so much hidden, but everything that we do discover, still heed counsel on it. Be coachable.
Yeah,
Be coachable.
Because in everything, the Most High, he's always trying to show us more. And that's why with chewing the cud, you have to go diligently seek that thing. You have to go below the surface level. Because he says, because you are the God of my salvation. So I can't save myself out of this. The stuff that they have planned, the stuff that's going on in this world, only those where the Most High is seeking their salvation are going to make it.
Mm-hmm. Those, they will not be touched. Their storehouses will be safe. Everything that they have stored up in their storehouses will be safe.
Right.
There's no need to flee, because we know we will be in faith. We will be protected, because faith is our shield.
That's our shield and our buckler, right?
Yeah.
And then it says, "Remember, O
And it's the
Yahuwah,
law.
thy tender mercies and thy loving kindnesses, for they have been ever of old." So just invoking the Most High to just remember, hey man, you know we your people, right? Don't forget about us now. We still need you.
Yes, that's why it's constant that we pray.
You know our enemies, they going crazy right now. Their hearts is failing for the things that's coming on this world.
Yes, so remember me.
Remember thou me, Father. You remember, hey, you know I'm your son, right? Then he says, "Remember not the sins of my youth, nor my transgressions. According to thy mercy, remember thou me for thy goodness sake, O Yahuwah." So, hey, I've been a knucklehead at times, but I'm coming to you, I'm pleading to you, I'm supplicating to you. I'm shakai to you. So don't remember my sins. Just remember me for your goodness sake, because you placed your name on me. Because it's you that chose me before the foundation of the world. Because it's you that sealed me. Good and upright is Yahuwah. Therefore will he teach sinners in the way. So, especially when you start thinking about this awakening, we have to remember that we all come from a place of being sinners, like habitual sinners.
Yeah, like we were born into it. So.
Right. And so it gets to a point to where people get over-righteous and just think because I'm keeping the Shabbat or the Sabbath, or because I'm doing my best to follow the laws, or whatever, that I can talk to anybody
any type of way. And
I can treat anybody any type of way.
No, that's moving in unrighteousness right there.
Yeah, that point blank period.
There's a respectful manner of it. Like, you have to be able to be approachable.
You gotta be approachable.
So,
right. And you have to, what we've been talking about,
and respectful.
You gotta be courteous, right? That's one of the C's, right? You have to, but again, people in their own self-righteousness fall short because of that, and they don't even realize that it's literally a sin that they're carrying on because they've lifted themselves up to being a god.
Yes.
And when I say that, be one they feel like people should be worshiping
Yeah.
or
Just
like just following you like
you
some
know,
say,
like just
I think I know it all. If you ain't with me, you're not in the truth. That's not being me. Because that's one thing the Elder Parson, my pops always talked about. Nobody has a monopoly or nobody knows all of the Most High.
exactly.
He comes to us in parts and we piece it together. That's why we're a body.
Yeah, yeah.
The body of Mashiach.
He may reach somebody else that that's not even here right now. So that's why it's important for the body to stick together and do their part. Like
That's literally that's literally it.
Like the best example of that was I was talking to my wife. What was it? 2 weeks ago or last week? Like the movie Raya and the Last Dragon. They described that movie. Those maybe 7 or 5 tribes in that movie. They described it as a body of the dragon. Which tribe was the head? Which tribe was the tail? The middle body, and then the foots and legs and stuff like that, or the feet and legs. Like the tail wanted to be the head because the head, or one of those parts of the body, was where the heart resided at, and it was a movable piece, an idol that they had that had power to it, and all the other tribes was jealous of this part of the body that coveted it, so they stole it, and their chaos went amongst the rest of the parts of the tribes amongst them. So the head shouldn't want to be the foot shouldn't want to be the tail. Do what you are ordered to do within the Most High. Move accordingly.
Right.
So.
Yeah, don't, like that's when commandments like, thou shalt not covet anything by neighbor, that's what they were doing.
Yeah.
Wanting to be the head when you're not. But just because you're not the head does not mean that you're not an important function.
Exactly.
Because the body can't operate right if you're not operating correctly.
Exactly.
Everybody in this thing is important. Like that's why I don't get into I'm up here or whatever you want to call it. No, we all got to be operating because in order for us to survive the stuff that's coming, something that Bernie always talks about, we don't have to be of one mind. In Hebrew, the word is akad. And so we're going to be learning more about that, but that's truly being of one mind. That's what we call unique, because it's not about you. And we've been raised in this society to where it's me.
That's more proof to just you saying being of one mind. Like that's more proof of just how much those who are in power right now have knowledge of Scripture, how much knowledge they have, because there's certain superhero characters that have to get together. The movie flopped, but in order for them to get together and exert their true power in this superhero movie, they had to create something that they called the hive mind or all mind or something like that.
What movie was this?
The Eternals.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when all of them get together, they know.
Yeah. It's really crazy if you really think about it, because again, this is about the meek because he don't got any judgment, right? Because we know that it's the meek that's going to inherit the earth. Well, we don't think that our enemies know this, and by enemies I think, by enemies I mean anyone who doesn't believe in the truth. Point blank period. They all come together in other secret societies, and even though the Illuminati does this, the Rosicrucians do that. Fighting with each other, to keep people killing each other, to destabilize countries,
to keep it chaotic.
Right, to keep you in a constant state of conflict. When the body can't even operate properly in that. So that's why in the news, that's why they keep circulating all of this leaven, all of this free radical.
And fear.
And fear, yeah, right, fear, which is a free radical, right?
Yes.
Because it heals the body.
Yes.
And you can't operate properly. But they can come together. But when it's like when our people or when the people of an assembly come together, it's like you can't fully come together because you want to be in competition with somebody.
Yeah,
And that's what it's like, no. Like, I'm not going to say who's going to be greater than what. No. It's a blessing to be just like your master. It's
not a competition.
Like, we got to stop that, trying to pocket watch somebody else or all this and that.
Or be like somebody else, or
right.
I mean, all of that is still coveting thy neighbor. All of that falls in the line of coveting thy neighbor. Like
right.
Trying to keep up with the Joneses or something like.
And we actually got Jones to come here, and we don't try to keep up with each other. We be trying to move forward together. Like, that's the spirit of the Ruach that the Most High wants us to be in. Because in order for us to not just survive but to thrive in what's coming, we got to be on the same page.
Yeah.
And all of the half stepping, all of the excuses, life stuff happens in life. Nobody's saying stuff ain't gonna happen in life.
Mm-hmm.
But
we
we
gotta
gonna be hearers only, or we gonna be doers.
with that. We gotta make that decision. Like, are we gonna keep moving forward in the Most High and just be firm-footed in it,
There it is.
or we gonna be halfway in and out? What you gonna do? Like the song we started or seen or heard, you struggling with your walk, then what you start for? I was like, dang, that's a powerful first liner right there. So, yeah, start strong, stay strong. We have to be able to endure, just like Job did.
And then, even if you start in like the walk, it's a little bit of a struggle. That's why we're actually supposed to be our brother's keeper.
Yes,
But
yes.
instead, we want to get into assessment. We want to build up this reasons why we're not going to work right with this person, because we're really becoming something that we have.
Yeah, that too.
And that just does nothing but keep alive. Especially with us coming into like certain truths and allowing the Most High to teach us His way. It says all the paths of Yahuwah are mercy and truth, and that's what people really cling on to, but they don't finish it. Unto such as keep His covenant and His testimonies. So, in His covenant and His testimonies, He shows us how we should live, how we should go, and people don't want it's a hard thing to get people to read the book, let alone to go to the quote unquote Old Testament. But here,
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Ike, the big Ike June.
Back on there, hard to go back into the Old Testament because that's just the thing. You got that saying that's still alive today, out with the old is with the new.
Right.
So since they think, Old Testament, we can throw that out
Right.
and just keep the new. Like I tell folks, like, they say, oh, well, you're Old Testament. I'm like, no, I'm the Old Testament.
Oh. Yeah.
New and old. The whole.
Because we don't be understanding. So, part of salvation and part of all this, He literally says, mercy and truth is unto such as keep His covenant and His testimonies. So, what we talked about before, that is an algorithm. You do these things, the Most High, He's going to make sure, I've already got it embedded. You do these things, you ain't even got to worry about it. It's going to happen because my word cannot return unto me void. But we don't want to allow that to happen because there's not a lot of people doing it. Let's just be honest. There's just not. It'd be ones and twos, and this walk can really get lonely. And that's what makes people want to go astray. I just want to be like everybody else. I just want to go to this big mega church. Well, I don't really know what the pastor talking about, what the bishop, deacon, apostle, whatever bishop's talking about, but everybody's there. And you're not really getting any type of substance from it. You're not getting any type of nourishment from it. Which that means it's not going to gender you to life. And, go ahead. Go ahead.
It's just, we want to be in somebody else's company just because, like you said, nobody wants to be alone. But, like, I pondered on that myself just by, sitting at the house before I even found my wife, like, I went celebrating these holidays.
Is that mic on?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I went celebrating the holidays, so, I'm just sitting at the house by myself, I'm thinking, like, man, like, I wonder, like, how, other people would feel, just getting into this truth and, like, just doing what I'm doing at home, doing nothing, or watching TV, or reading some word, or whatever, and just, on a day that, like, New Year's Eve, or Christmas Day, I'm not doing any of this, but what's going on through the minds of somebody that's trying to, just now step foot into this truth? Like, they're gonna be wrong. They're gonna be like, man, this is boring. Like, this is what we got to look for. Like, nah. It's like, wait till this day is over.
Right.
Leave this day to whatever it is they're doing. And guess what? Go start knowing that, through these holidays, like, you're not supposed to eat up the food that's been cooked or prepared for these holidays.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you stay away from the food, because it's a sacrifice unto these deities that is true for. So don't get into that covenant with them.
Right.
And the drink
Mm-hmm.
that is being supplied. But I've always thought about that, like, man, because it feels like, man, I'm all by myself, which I'm cool with, I'm fine with, But for somebody that likes to be around people and
Yeah.
be, just sometimes the center of attention.
Accepted. And, yep.
Like, you gotta find a new you. Stop being that, because all attention ain't good attention.
No, it ain't. And it's not good intentioned either. For thy name's sake, O Yahuwah, pardon mine iniquity, for it is great. What man is he that feareth Yahuwah? Him shall he teach in the way that he shall choose. So again, this is all about an algorithm. Getting inside the algorithm, getting in the correctness of the law, which is the algorithm of the Most High, so then he can supply our needs and can continue, especially with what's coming, because we know it's coming. It says, his soul shall dwell at ease, and his seed shall inherit the earth. This whole book is about a future inheritance that's coming. If it's not us, it could be our children or our grandchildren. But we know that that is coming.
We got to continue to nurture that seed so it can grow into what it needs to be, like the inheritance that's promised to us. So we start with ourselves in the truth, and we pass it along through the generations. So even if we don't get to live to see the promised land or anything that's promised to us, we know that it's secured through our generations before us. As long as we let them know, teach it, preach it, and keep it moving, and live in the law, walk in the truth, live in the word, live in scripture.
Right.
We got to be able to nurture and plant this seed.
So like I said, so that Hebrew word is nahala, right, for inherit. And it says, the secret of Yahuwah is with them that fear him, and he will show them his covenant. So learning the secret things of the Most High is literally learning about his covenant. And if you only read one half, because they try to say that it is it's really a renewed covenant, you're not getting all of the secrets out of there. You're not. And that's why the world is so confused, because they don't want to chew the cud. Because chewing the cud is about a whole second digestion. Again, it's about researching, asking the Father for discernment, for clarity, and for the truth, so it can set us free. Then it says, mine eyes are ever toward Yahuwah, for he shall pluck my feet out of the net. So he makes sure that we don't trip and fall. Turn thee unto me, and have mercy upon me, for I am desolate and afflicted. So when we za'ak, or cry out to the Most High, of one mind, akkad, that's when calamities and all this stuff starts happening to our nation, to the other nations. Same thing that happened in Egypt. Once we can get to that point, to where our prayers are the same, till we send up that same sweet smelling savor to the Most High, that's when blessings happen. That's when miracles are made manifest, right? So as we keep going, it says, the troubles of my heart are enlarged. O bring thou me out of my distress. So the reason why we're going over Psalms 25 is because for the rest of this month, we need to be meditating on this prayer, because this is what David is praying. We don't even realize for the future, because the Eastern mind, especially of a patriarch, of a father, is about his children's children's children. We're always thinking ahead. We don't have time to be wallowing in all the stuff that we're going through all the time, because our life is about more than us, especially when children are involved. It's about more than that. He says, look upon mine affliction and my pain, and forgive all my sins. So you just let the Most High know, hey, look, everything I'm going through, all my faults, forgive me, Father. Because I was talking to my mama about certain things, and, once you come into the realization about prayer, so there's different levels and different stages of prayer. Like when you're first coming to the Most High, pleading, trying to get, healed or sins forgiven, that's a type of supplication. That's shakah. But your prayer should not stay like that, because you should be building on faith. And then you should start building and walking and speaking and even acting in the power of Mashiach. Because that's why the scribes and Pharisees were so confused at his doctrine, because he spoke with power. So initially, yes, you prostrate. It's always good to prostrate before the Most High because he is the creator of the universe. I'm not telling anybody to not do that. But I'm saying your prayer should start getting stronger with faith and with power. Because faith is a muscle. The more it grows, the stronger it becomes. And so your confidence has got to grow in it. So it's just not always this beggy, because no father is going to have his child always having to beg for something, especially if it's the same thing over and over and over again. Sooner or later, because once you ask, he wants to give it to you. But he just wants to make sure that's something that you really want. And he wants to make sure that you actually believe that he can give you the desires of your heart. So your prayers or your confidence in prayers have to change. And even like with the prayer, this prayer in like Psalms 25, use these, have faith in them, believe in them, but you should also be creating your own prayers, because this was just a prayer of David that ended up getting put into a book, because your words have power. They have meaning. So, and when you're praying and you're praying in the Spirit tells you what to say, because you never know. It might be some of your prayers that ends up being in a book in the future that your future descendants are looking back like, man, that was my predecessor. Wow. And they, you know what? They were praying for us. They had us in mind, even in their day. This is the type of mind that we have to have going forward. Consider mine enemies, for they are many, and they hate me with a cruel hatred. If that's not us right now, I don't know who that is. But we just still have to decree these things out to the Most High so that he can save us, because, again, he is our song and he's our salvation. Oh, keep my soul and deliver me. Let me not be ashamed, for I put my trust in you. And we know those that truly put their trust in the Most High, he's not going to allow us to be ashamed. We just have to stay consistent in the Most High. We have to do our part. That's the big thing. Were you going to say something, Jim? No? Okay. And then he says, oh, keep my soul and deliver me. Let me not be ashamed, for I put my trust in you. So I'm going to keep on. Let integrity and uprightness preserve me, for I wait on you. Redeem Israel, O God, out of all his troubles. So this whole time he's praying, it would have you think that he's just talking about himself. He's talking about future generations. So we know that in the quote unquote church, there's this whole spirit of, it's this doctrine called supersessionism, replacement theology. So now the church has become the people of God, right? Or the people of the Most High. But we know that we are actually the body of Mashiach, or we were the congregation of the tabernacle in the wilderness. And we know that anybody who cleaves to the covenant can come and be a part of the fold. But when you read scriptures like this, you're like, wait, why is he praying? He's still praying for Israel. And you got to keep this in mind, like, man, all this stuff that's happening is because of the prayers for Israel. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. And but again, Israel is everyone that's actually become a part of the fold too. I'm not excluding nobody. But there is a bloodline, covenanted people that matters. Israelite lives matter, in case y'all don't know that. They try to call us black Hebrew Israelites. They try to say all this and that. Israelites' lives matter. The truth is coming out. That's why it's in spirit and in truth. So we can't even when people start talking crazy, and oh, you're a part of a cult, and you're like, you go to a Christian church? Do you? So that means you're a part of a cult, right? Cult is short for what? Culture. Everybody's a part of some type of cult. You can give it a negative connotation or a positive one. It's all in how you view it. But again, these things that are happening in the world are happening for you. But don't let it happen to you, because you're not getting in line with the Most High's algorithm, right? With his covenant and his testimonies, with his law, which is going to give us eternal life, with being obedient and having faith in Mashiach. None of that stuff matters if we don't have faith in Mashiach, because we can't just be hearers only. We must be doers so we can be justified. And then like what we was talking about earlier, that's one of the biggest errors in Christianity. They tell you, well, you start in the New Testament, and then you just stay there. when everywhere in the quote unquote New Testament, they just quoting from the alleged Old Testament. That is flawed logic. This is the only book where you start halfway at the halfway point, and then maybe you go back. But most of them don't. Or if they do, it's all about prosperity messages. And you're not getting the full totality because people don't really have the stomach for the actual truth, for the actual prophecies that's a part of this book. What were you going to say, Jim? Go ahead.
It's just what did you say? About the New Testament, like, even in the New Testament, it tells us to keep the life of law. And they'll skip over that just to keep the agenda that they've been preaching.
Yeah.
When you tell somebody, well, I'm keeping the law, all your Old Testament law, you need to go to Revelation. The law is light. Even Paul said the law is light. So,
This stuff be so wild. The prophet Isaiah literally says to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. And that's a shot to all Christianity that tells you to stay away from the Old Testament. They don't have the light of the Most High in them. Now, with me saying that, there's exceptions to every rule. So let me not speak in absolutes because that's what people try to, oh, he's saying this. No, I'm not. But I'm saying as a majority because of the doctrine that has been spewed out from hundreds or even thousands of years, it's flawed. That's why we are called to be cloven footed. Cloven footed. So as we know, we are on the road to Passover. Passover is a sign. Signs and wonders, disasters is happening every which way, right? And with that being said, it's all about Texas.
The fire going on.
Yeah, it's really when it comes down to it, it's all about Texas. And you just hit the nail on the head. Hold on, let me get to it. Hold on, because I think I done figured out. Okay, yeah, how to do this.
This is the worst fire in Texas history, and it's not even close to being stopped yet.
maybe that's another natural disaster, wildfire.
And it's coming towards the phone, the panhandle part.
Look at this. So one thing that we do know is what that solar eclipse. The two best places to see it is what? Mexico and Texas. And then it's going to go all the way up through Canada, basically making a straight line, going all the way up. And so on the heels of everything going on in Texas, now there's a wildfire, and it was in, March/February? It's not even hot enough for that.
No.
That don't even make sense.
Remember I told you on my phone, it said fire alert on my phone a couple days ago. That was weird.
Yeah.
And then now this pops up.
Mm-hmm. So we know it's all about Texas, right? Okay. So let's go to this next video. Let's go check this one out.
But first, to Bill Malugin, live in Eagle Pass, Texas. Bill, we just got word of a court ruling regarding Texas war law. What can you tell us about how that might affect things there?
about how that might affect things there?
Yeah, Jackie, some breaking news
Fair
we're just
use.
finding out about within the last hour. A federal judge has blocked Texas's SB 4, its state border security law, from taking effect. It was set to go into effect next week. It would have allowed the state of Texas to arrest, jail, and potentially even deport illegal immigrants. But a federal judge has now shot that down, writing in part that essentially states can't conduct their own immigration system. That is up to the federal government. Now we wait to see if the state of Texas
up to the federal government. Now
So,
we wait to see
long
if
story
the
short,
state
now,
of Texas
I told y'all,
appeals.
the
In
state
the
of
meantime, we're
Texas
talking about
has
these
been beefing with the
competing
federal
visits between Biden and
So
Trump
now a
coming
judge
to
just
very different
stopped
parts of the
everything
border.
that they have
Let's
going
visualize that for you.
and said,
Take
no,
a look
y'all
at this
can't do
graphic
that. Y'all
right here,
can't police
courtesy
your
of
own borders no
CBP
more.
sources.
Now,
This
mind
is
you,
internal
Florida,
data
and we're gonna get to
showing
what you were
Border
talking
Patrol
about,
apprehensions
me
in
and you
both
talked about a
spots
few
over
days
the
ago.
last 5
Florida
days. Look at the trend
and
here.
Texas
Here where
both
we
have
are in
troops
Eagle
there,
Pass,
right?
hundreds
Okay.
every day. You've had more than But first, to
So
Bill
then
Malugin,
we have
live
to go
in
to the
Eagle
next slide. Why is Texas considered the Lone Star State? Does anyone know why?
It's
Huh?
its own country.
Huh? Why? Why is it considered the Lone Star State?
It's its own country.
Okay.
That's why.
At one point in time, Texas had thought about seceding from the United States, but that was years
Okay.
ago.
Yeah, yeah. So, but you're right. So how I'm going to answer that is programming. So how did Texas come to be?
Texas, what Texas wants Mexico? Like they had a fight to
Conquistadors.
Texas.
Remember the Alamo.
Yeah. Like, that was
So,
Mexico.
right. So why is Texas called the Lone Star State? Texas's nickname pays tribute to the Lone Star flag, which was adopted after Texas became independent from Mexico in 1836. So from the inception of Texas, it was about separating itself from Mexico. But it's been programming us for what's to come, is what I'm trying to show people. Texas was an independent republic for 10 years before accepting annexation to the United States. And the flag reflects the pride and go it alone spirit that is still part of the Texas way of life. They've never let that spirit go. And it's now other states are starting to really gravitate to that because of what's going on in this so-called presidency, right? So what you talked about, right? So I know some of it's cut off. So we know Florida sent 1,000 troops. Missouri's sending troops also, right? So that's another thing. Missouri's sending it. So it says National Guard troops. Missouri is sending National Guard troops to Texas to help secure the U.S. southern border. They're sending all that money to Ukraine. The plan was released Sunday. The same day, Parson joined Texas Governor Greg Abbott and 13 Republican counterparts for a security briefing in Eagle Pass, Texas. My fellow governors and I are here at the southern border learning how we can best support Texas in working to end the crisis at our border. We'd much rather fight this fight here than in our backyards in Missouri. A strong southern border leads to a stronger Missouri. So again, we're starting to see further divide. So now that's another state that's sending troops over there. But Biden and the rest of them, he got the federal, judges in his pocket, and then they're just shooting down no, a state can't not allow people, to get out of there, which don't make no sense. States do have power to just no, you can't stay here. That don't even make sense what they're trying to do. And then once you understand that all of these people that have been coming over here, a lot of them is coming from China and a military age men, they're talking about the makings of a Chinese army. And y'all just want to let you're talking some days it'd be thousands of people coming across the border. And you know what? Some of the videos, they'll have notes in their hand and it'll say what city and what state that they actually are supposed to be going to. I was watching that, I'm like, how do y'all already know where y'all going to? That don't make no sense. Go ahead.
They get to pick where they want to go. They ship them on a bus and go somewhere. But Georgia just announced they're passing a bill. I'm gonna move this one. Georgia just announced they're passing a bill to
Georgia announced they're passing a bill.
Yeah, Georgia is announcing they're trying to pass this bill that if you're a migrant and the police see you, they can either arrest you now and prosecute you, or they suspect that you're doing suspicious activity, they can arrest you now. But it all stems from because some Venezuelan migrants just killed a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where it's all coming from.
Right. So we know, again, we're on the road to Passover. All this crazy stuff is going on. I didn't put this in here, but y'all know what's going on in California, right?
It's a blizzard.
Yeah, they're going to get 12, they said 12 feet.
It's already 12 feet.
12 feet of snow in March.
And it's hurricane-sized winds.
100 miles per hour winds in California right now. Again, I didn't put that in there. But this lets you know, what times we live in, because California never gets that. 12, they said up to, it was going to be snowing or rain or whatever. They said 5 inches per hour or something. It was something crazy.
Yeah, in some places it's so hot that people who were at work couldn't get outside the door because it's so hot.
That don't make no sense. California, because we all know that California is sinking. We've talked about that, right? So I'm going to ask y'all, do y'all know what's going on at the UN?
No. Besides the whole Ukraine stuff, they arguing over if they should send troops to Ukraine.
I got a video for y'all. Hold on. Let me find it. Yeah. There's so much stuff going on. I didn't know which videos to show and which not. Again, all of these videos are under fair use for educational and training purposes. Man, y'all ready? Y'all ready?
So apparently UN is relocating many of its staff from New York to Nairobi, Kenya. And it had people questioning why exactly they're doing this. Let's look at this from the Kenyan point of view. Kenyans were asking, why do you need to relocate? This is, by the way, it's reported that this is a mass relocation. Let me read for you what Pulse Life Kenya reported. They wrote, this strategic move aiming to place the agency closer to the communities it serves has sparked concerns among many of the affected employees. About a quarter of the staff in the New York office will be affected. A quarter of the staff that is based in New York is going to be relocating to Nigeria.
So we're gonna read this article. So who knows where the UN is headquartered at currently? Yeah. It's in New York City. The UN is headquartered in New York City. Right? So I'm gonna read you the article that this woman was talking about. It says mass relocation of UN agency staff from New York to Nairobi causes jitters. What? Really? Kenya or Nairobi, right? Okay.
That's the capital.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jamal. Read this.
Mass evacuation. This strategic move aiming to place the agencies closer to the communities it serves has sparked concern among many of the affected employees.
Right. So the employees, they worried, like, man, why is we doing that? Why are we leaving New York?
Yeah, that's weird.
Okay.
About a quarter of the staff in New York office will be affected.
So what you say, it's only saying 25%, but you got to understand the personnel that's going over there.
Yeah.
Okay. So 25% of them is leaving New York, mass, out of nowhere.
Going to Nairobi.
Okay.
I'll be tripping. According to some staffers who spoke to the Vex media, the announcement was delivered via email to staff on September 2023.
Now, anybody who's worked for a company knows you do certain big moves like that. You have like a big meeting or a teleconference letting people know. That's not how they did it. Hey, y'all have a great weekend. And by the way, y'all going to Kenya.
No, check the email.
Yeah, have a good weekend. What kind of sense does that make? And what do they know is coming that's making them leave? Yeah. That's what you have to start thinking, like, wait, they're leaving New York City?
They're forced to leave. Their choice.
But no, but the UN is choosing to send a quarter of them to Africa. That's the question.
What is the reason?
That's the question, right? Okay, keep going.
They are protesting that the decision for the relocation had been finalized without prior consultation. So they had no idea.
So these secret societies that are running these governmental things, these UN organizations, right, have already got a plan. They're of one mind. They are Akkad, and they move in unison. Yeah. And the employees is like, man, the decision was already made before we could talk about it. There was no discussion. Yeah. They told us that we got to go, right? 25%.
What do you tell your family when you go home to your wife and kids? Sorry, guys.
Hey, baby, we about to start eating exotic. We're about to start eating from the motherland. That's the only thing you can say, right?
That is crazy.
And what you have to start thinking, because we know that there's a second exodus coming, but we know that exodus is going to be people leaving here and going back that way. So why is the UN so, anxious about hurry up and getting there? Just like they've tried to control the awakening, they're going to try to stop the second exodus.
They know what's going to happen before it happens, bro. That's all it is to it.
Go ahead, Jim.
And they think that they can run from it, but they can't.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
It don't matter how many spaceships you get on SpaceX and try to fly up on out. Yeah, there's no height.
You know what's?
Some of them are trying to move to the
yeah, that's the plan. That's why they have all those movies, right? Yeah. And so when you really think about it, the reason why was it the Avengers movies where it was the Black Panther, was that not the Avengers? Was that the Avengers?
Yeah, the Avengers had Black Panther.
Okay, because in one of them, I think it was Thanos was the main character. Yep. The place of safety, everyone had to go to Wakanda. Right, because they had this one type of technology that nobody else had, right? Vibranium, right? In Africa, right? But they had vibranium. Vibranium is really what high vibrations. Let's make it simple. So there's something about how Africa vibrates, and the way that the poles are shifting, the way the world is moving, the way the signs are coming to where they know there's about to be a re-scramble for Africa. Because it's not just the UN. That's why you see all these European countries trying to get footholds, and even China also. Because they know that there is destruction coming.
China's taking over a lot of Africa and doing.
Of course, that's what the Red Dragon's supposed to do. I mean, that's what the Red Dragon's supposed to do.
They got land here and
They build schools over there and all types of stuff.
Bruv. Keep going.
The objective behind this major relocation is to enhance the efficiency and effectiveness of the agency by moving its core operations nearer to the populations in need.
Really? So like that, you know what? They just got, bless their little hearts.
Thank God for these folks.
Yeah, bless their little hearts.
Thank God for them folks.
Oh man, they got them Kenyans in mind. Yeah. What about the homeless here?
Yeah.
Like, so you gonna leave 25? So again, but you have to pay attention to the type of personnel that's leaving, right?
Yeah.
Keep going.
The relocation also involves staff members who are integral to policy development and the maintenance of vital interagency and intergovernmental relations.
So what does that mean? Intergovernmental, interagency. That means multiple. Because again, all of these agencies, all of these secret societies are of one mind, right? They are Akkad. So these people are vital in getting things set up, systems in place, and actually in operation or application or functionality. So when they go over there, they go in there with the intent to be able to subvert or stop this awakening, the second Exodus, all of this stuff. Or at least to, like you were talking about, to not be judged from it. Because there's too much innocent blood on their hands. But that's what they're trying to do. That's what they're planning. And I'm not telling y'all this so y'all can be fearful. Because we know that we can't live in fear. That's not what we do here. But we are warning everybody. So when these things happen, you're not overcome with grief and with fear and all this other type of stuff. Because we don't do that here. This isn't fear mongering. I'm just allowing people to have the information. Because right. Right. It's supposed to be for our benefit. There it is. Yeah. So go ahead.
Critics argue that managing these critical functions from afar could present significant change.
So they know that if these 25%, because of how they deal interconnectedly, right? If they leave, it's going to create certain challenges. Now I'm gonna go to the next slide. Read that one.
With only a small contingent of policy and technical program staff remaining in New York, there are concerns about the potential impact of the agency's influence and advocacy efforts.
So these 25% that's going is the most important parts of the UN. Yeah. And if they leave America, they won't be able to control or do the stuff that they were doing over here anymore because they know that the balance of power is shifting. So they are effectively, the head of the UN is effectively abandoning America. Y'all just need to be aware of this. They are abandoning this place. So we've got to be aware, huh? Yeah, that was a video. That was a news video, but it's not on the mainstream news outlets like that. Yeah, on the mainstream, they're not like, but it is on a smaller news network. Yes, I found it, and I found the article. Yeah, and this is not to be fearful. This is to let you know, for one, this means that your redemption is nigh. So that's a beautiful thing to look forward to. That's why we have to be of one mind, Akkad, and we have to be rooted in the Most High. That's why we have to have faith in the Most High. That's why we must chew the cud, and that's why we must be cloven footed. There's no getting around that. The time is getting too short, right? Keep going.
Despite the reservations, UNFPA leadership is focusing on the positive aspects of the move.
Check. Now read this next one slowly.
By establishing its headquarters closer to the heart of the African continent.
So again, the headquarters has been in America for 72 years. Yeah. But now they're establishing it in the heart of Africa. Yeah. They know something's coming. Yeah. Y'all better wake up. Yeah. This is not for play. Wake up, people. All right, keep going.
Where the rates of maternal mortality are among the highest globally, UNFPA aims to bolster its mission of reducing maternal deaths.
Now, does that make sense to y'all?
Oh, man.
Y'all giving people jabs that's been sterilizing people for all these years. And you want us to believe that malarkey? That don't even sound attractive.
Oh, man. Now you want to do it?
Like now you want to care about your neighbor.
Yeah.
Y'all don't even care. You've been headquartered here in America, and y'all don't care about the homeless here.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
That makes no sense.
At all.
I mean, it does, but it don't.
It don't make no sense, man.
Like, that's blasphemy, right?
It's backwards.
You go to Africa to help their maternal rate, but
Yeah.
you know, use them as jab guinea pigs.
Yep, and other guinea pigs.
Well, they were doing that for centuries. And that
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
They
Yeah,
were trying to do that for the COVID vaccine.
I believe it. Yeah.
There is so much stuff going on. There could have been, and I wouldn't even say anything. I could just go for video after video, stuff going on. And you would just sit there and be like, what?
How do you find these videos?
I look for it. You got to know what's coming. We're watchmen. It's our job, especially as men, as heads of households, to let our families know. But again, it's not to move in fear. That's why we're moving together and we're doing the things we're supposed to do, right? Go ahead.
UNFPA's decision aligns with the broader trend of United Nations agencies and non-governmental organizations, NGOs, shifting their bases to the global south, recognizing Nairobi as a significant UN hub.
The global south is Africa. So just like we don't need none of them GMOs, we don't need no NGOs either. None of that. Point blank, period. Right? Read that last one.
The city already hosts major UN entities like the United Nations Environment Program and uninhabited, reinforcing its status as a focal point for international development efforts.
So they're really worried about international efforts now. Something after the 400 years hits, COVID strikes, all these calamities and disasters. That's right, Young King. Worldwide happens. And now all of a sudden, you know, we got to go back to Africa. Then there was another guy who was and I forgot to put that video in here, who was an either CIA or something like ex-governmental dude who's was the founder of BlackRock, talking about that we need to recolonize Africa. This happened before this happened.
Yeah.
Like before this video came out, he was talking about that either last week or the week before. I was like, oh, because he said because they can't govern themselves. You know, they need us to lead them, for lack of a better term, because all they have is corruption and all. When that's literally all this government does, it goes everywhere else and destabilizes and causes all this stuff.
Yeah.
Who says that they want that?
Exactly. They haven't asked for it. Well, then, you know, then again, that's not really true because they've been asking Russia to help them a lot too in different countries over there. So
that would be a better option. I hate to. So again, we have to know what it means to chew the cud. We're going back to Leviticus 11 because, like I said, this is going to be a short one. We're going to get y'all out of here. So Leviticus 11. June, if you don't mind.
And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying unto them, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, These are the beasts which ye shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth.
So in other words, the Most High is telling you that if you're going to consume any type of doctrine, any type of teaching, it better fit in certain parameters. So it's deeper than just that, right? But keep going.
Whatsoever
Parteth
the hood, and is cloven footed, and cheweth the cud among the beasts, that shall ye eat.
So it's got to be cloven footed. So you better be cloven footed also, and you better take that mindset when you're watching these different teachings, assemblies, whatever. You better make sure that doctrine is cloven footed. That's what you got to be now, because that's why there's a great falling away. It's an awakening. But if you, matter of fact, June, can you go to Daniel 12 and read the first 3 verses? Because there's 2 awakenings, there's 2 seeds, and there's 2 digestions, right? That's what chewing of the cud, and that's what being cloven footed is really about. But we don't really understand that in this awakening, the awakening was already prophesied. It was supposed to happen. It's going to happen. But there's 2 manners of men. There's 2 different types of vessels that you could potentially be, right? Which we'll get to that after this.
Which verse?
Start at verse 1, read through verse 3.
And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people.
So the angel, that's the angel for our people, right? Is Mikael, one who is like Yahuwah. That's what his name ends up being, meaning, right? Keep going.
And there shall be a time of trouble,
Uh-oh.
such as never was since there was a nation, even to the same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book.
So again, this is what you call Jacob's trouble. So Jacob's first trouble was what? When Joseph was, sold into slavery, right? That was his first trouble. And then now this is a future Jacob's trouble that we have all been born into, right? Can you read verse 3?
Haven't read 2 yet.
Oh, okay, yeah. Go ahead.
And many of them, this is verse 2, and many of them that slept in the dust of the earth shall awake.
Awakening. That's the awakening right there. You got to have eyes to see it, though. You got to chew the cud on that. So in Jacob's trouble, there's going to be people, because we all fell asleep. But then there's something that happens that people awake, right? Keep going.
Some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt.
So which ones chewed the cud and which ones are cloven footed?
Everlasting life.
All of this stuff, bro. Like, you start finding this stuff out, you like, oh, wait a minute. So all this was literally foretold. This whole awakening, it don't have to say the awakening, but if you know Ezekiel 37, the dry bones were dead, and then we awake to life, right? And then the next thing you know, that you read a verse like that, and then read verse 3. And this is why, to answer your question in the group text you talked about the one about the chewing of the cud. Read the next one.
And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament.
Mm-hmm.
And they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever.
So that's our duty, to turn our people to righteousness, because we will shine as stars. So in this awakening, some people are just falling away, right? And then so that means that they're getting cast out into outer darkness. That means that there is no light in them, because again, it's to the law and the testimony. If they speak not according to this word, it's because there is no light in them, right? So again, we want to shine like a star in that sense, right? Awakening people to righteousness, to salvation, because we chew the cud and because we're cloven footed. That means that the things that we're even consuming, you better have your antennas on, because they want you to keep consuming things that are unclean. Things that will turn you away from the Most High. Things that will only give you entertainment and not spiritual nourishment. Things that will only get you to question everything that's in the book of life. Yes, I'm calling this book the book of life because our lives are literally tied to it. So be careful about that. Be very careful about that. Okay, where were we at on this? Thank you, Jim, for reading that.
Number 30. Whatsoever part, no, we did that one, 4, but I'll read 3 again. Whatsoever part of the hood and is cloven footed and cheweth the cud among the beasts, that shall ye eat. Nevertheless, these shall ye not eat of them that chew the cud, or of them that divide the hoof, as the camel, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof.
So it's important that you're making sure that there's certain parameters in the stuff that you're listening to or watching, because it may be something that this is wicked, but I know that they're telling us some of the stuff that they're planning. Okay, I can chew the cud and I know how to chew up the meat and spit out the bones. But if you're just listening to stuff and some stranger you don't know, and you ain't done no research yourself, and you're believing that is truth, that ain't chewing no cud. That's just how a lot of people are. They'll watch something and they're like, oh yes, this and that. Yeah, I learned it. That ain't learning nothing. That's what you call being a parrot. And that's how, to be honest, that's how we got in this situation. Listen to what the priest said, because the priests had become wicked, because the fathers had become wicked, right?
I mean, even back in slavery times, listen to pastor, or even those who couldn't read, they were just mimicking what they saw their masters do in church. And they got this Bible in their hand, can't read a lick of it, but they know what master said. And they repeat everything that master some of the masters knew what their slaves was doing. So to keep them in order,
Right.
they would come up with their own sermons talking about a good slave obeys his master.
Yeah.
So,
Literally. So parting of the hoof, right? Because everything about this book is spiritual, right? So parting of the hoof, paras, right? To divide, to break into. You've got to have discernment to be able to divide or break into doctrines, stuff that you're listening to, and make sure that it lines up with the word. So in other words, before you start accepting things that maybe are from books that were taken out, you need to make sure that you're rooted in the book first. That's the first step. Before you try to graduate to other things and think that you're more spiritual than what you are, get rooted in this first. Chew the cud in this first. Be cloven footed of mind first. That's what we have to do now, right? So what does it mean to be cloven footed? It's really a remix to what it means to part the hoof. Now this is shisha, right? Cloven footed, right? Cleft cloven, right? But that didn't really give you a good definition. And, sheep has it, this and that. But what the Most High or Yahuwah is really trying to show us is, I'm going to show you what Wikipedia says about cloven footed. And if you don't mind, read this.
A cloven hoof, cleft hoof, divided hoof, or split hoof is a hoof split into two toes. Members of the, what is that? Mammalia lion order. What's that?
Yeah.
That possess this type of hoof include cattle, deer, pigs, antelopes, gazelles, goats, and sheep.
So, but because the pig is cloven footed, but we can't eat it though. Huh? Right, but it doesn't chew the cud. Right, because it doesn't chew the cud. Keep going.
The two digits of cloven hoofed animals are homologous, the third and fourth fingers of the hand.
So it's like they have hands, right? Okay.
They are called claws and are named for their relative location on the foot. The outer or lateral claw and inner or medial claw. The space between the two claws is called the interdigital cleft. The area of skin is called the interdigital skin. The hard outer covering of the hoof is called the hoof wall or horn. It is a hard surface similar to human fingernail.
Okay, now read this part because this is the point.
All right. The almost finger-like dexterity available to cloven-hoofed mammals such as mountain goats and wild sheep, combined with a hard outer shell and soft and flexible inner pads, provides excellent traction in their precarious habitats.
So what is traction and why do we need it?
Traction is like, where you go without slipping and falling.
Without what?
Slipping and falling.
So it keeps you in the way.
Yeah.
So again, okay. So what does this say about traction? The definition of traction.
Traction. The force that stops something. For example, the wheels of a vehicle from sliding on the ground.
So that means that you can stay on stable ground.
Yeah.
That means that you can have, you won't be double-minded, right? That means that you're rooted in the Most High because you've chewed the cud on a situation, right? So these cloven-footed beasts have traction. So you better be eating or consuming doctrines that have traction to life eternal, not to eternal damnation, right? Read the second definition of it.
Okay. A way of treating a broken bone in your body that involves using special equipment to pull the bone gradually back into its correct place.
So even with this cloven footedness, even if you have come into doctrine that would harm you, because you're cloven minded, you'll be able to get back on track with the Most High, right? Because you're taking the time to make sure that you're having discernment. You're asking the Most High to give you the truth, not a truth, not his truth, but the truth, right? We have to be cloven footed of mind because everything's about consumption. Right? That's why you have to continually chew the cud in the word of the Most High before you go out to all these other things. Because there's a lot of knowledge out there. A lot of these people, like their God is information. That's what their God is, information, not the creator of it. So we got to get back to the source, which is the Creator, and He gives us this information, right? Seek you first the kingdom. So, again, we have to be cloven footed, right? Because we're founded on a rock, right? Yahuwah is our rock, or Yahushua is our rock, right? And we want to be saved. But you got to remember everything. That's why they want you to be in for 24 hours a day. They want you to be entertained. Because you're consuming it. Go ahead.
Like, they are pushing that too. Like in all the commercials I see on TV. Like, man, it's just, catch this show, catch that show, or we created a new show.
Uh-huh.
And I'm looking at it and I'm like,
Watch this game, watch that game.
It's like, I guess Deal or No Deal and Survivor have mashed together and made a new show and they call it Survivor Island or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And it's from the creators of Deal or No Deal, Survivor, Fear Factor, and stuff like that. And they just put it in all one show, making a big, tobacco about it, announcement about it, and all of this on the late night show and all of that. I'm like, nah, I'm cool.
Yeah. So in this great apostasy that's going on, because we talked about how in Daniel 12 it talked about the awakening, and there's a lot of people, even with the preponderance of information that keeps coming, the flood of information coming about who we are, the truth of the book, somebody comes with some human logic, some theory to try to deceive people, and then they just fall away.
Yeah.
Literally giving away your nahala, literally giving away your inheritance. And I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to give that away. To be in a land where people can really love one another, when you ain't got to worry about cops killing nobody, you ain't got to worry about having to pick between a wicked president or a more wicked president, or wicked governors. It don't make sense because they only give you the ones that they choose, and you got to choose out of their chosen.
Unless they're like, they used to teach you that in school. I don't know if they still teach that, but like me growing up in school, they taught me that our vote truly doesn't matter. It's the electoral vote.
Facts.
Yeah, we can vote, but it's to sway the electoral college.
Right.
Well, what's the point of voting?
Yeah, and who's actually in this college, and how do I attend?
Well, we've never seen any of them.
Well, what kind of degrees you get from that college?
Exactly.
Because that might be what a college really is, and maybe I'm spending money on the wrong thing. Because that stuff don't add up.
And then you got every state don't even have the same amount of electoral college votes as well.
Yeah, which don't make no sense. Like, wait, why wouldn't we all have the same amount?
When they taught us that.
Yeah, facts.
And
That's why I've never
I made
voted.
the decision then, like I'm not gonna be registered to vote.
Facts.
Still not, to this day.
There's no point.
35 years old. I'm not registered for what?
There's no point.
I ain't voted since Obama the first time, I ain't voted on one since.
Boy, yeah, don't ever do that again. So, to finish up, we're going to read the second book of Timothy. And, Jeremiah, if you don't mind.
Alright. Thou therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Christ Jesus.
And Mashiach.
And the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses.
He wants you to tell everybody.
The same commit thou to faithful men.
What does that mean? Read the rest of it.
Faithful men who shall be able to teach others also.
So he just told him, Paul just told him to tell it to everybody, right? That's what he just said?
Yeah.
Read that verse again.
Which part?
I said, Paul said to tell it to everybody, right?
Just keep going, bro.
No, he said to commit it to faithful men. Not everybody. He said to faithful men. People that will actually chew the cud and be cloven footed of mind. Because if you're going to be a patriarch or a father, you got to make sure that you know what you're talking about. And he wants to make sure that you're going to be consistent in it. So it's not for everybody to know the mysteries of the kingdom. Only faithful men will actually find these things out. Will search these things out, right? Keep going.
Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Jesus Christ. No man that weareth entangled himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who hath chosen him to be a soldier.
So with everything going on in this world, you cannot give yourself over unto fear. That is not the time, because we're not warring against this world. because the battle is the Most High's. We just have to do our part in being prepared physically, like with the preparation for the foods and the things that are needful, but also mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. That's why we're just warning people. Like, just so you know, this is what's really going on. Don't be scared of it. Believe that the Most High got you, and move in power. That's the whole point, in moving in power.
Exactly. Believe that he will be your shield.
He's Yahuwah Yahweh. He's our provider, our supplier.
Protect his people just as he did in Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
When they put their blood over their door and he came and he sent his right hand to smite down the firstborns.
Right.
Along with the rest of the plagues that he sent before that.
Right.
His people stood within the midst of all of that happening because they were still captive in
Facts.
Egypt.
Facts.
And they endured it, and they believed in him, and they were saved.
Is the volume up on one of y'all phones? Oh, yeah. Jeremiah, keep going.
And if a man also strive for masteries, yet is he not crowned, except he strive lawfully.
So you must be striving in order, decently. And imagine that. He says lawfully. The Most High gave us a law or an algorithm to follow. Imagine that. Keep going.
The husbandman that laboreth must be first partaker of the fruits. Consider what I say, and the Lord give thee understanding in all things. Remember that Jesus Christ of the seed of David was raised from the dead according to my gospel. And
like this is what we were talking about earlier with that replacement theology. Because if it's not important about, the Messiah being of the seed of David, why would Paul be talking about it? The seed of David still is important. Because again, Israelites' lives matter. Judean lives matter. We matter, and they know we do. But they got to keep you in that low estate. They got to keep you in that place of turmoil. They got to keep you fighting your neighbor, hating your brother in your heart. Because if you love one another and if you can get on one page, that's when Egypt falls. That's when the walls of Jericho come crumbling down. Getting on one mind, being of one voice, za'aking or crying out to the Most High with one consent, one accord. That's what we're moving into. That's where we have to go. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. That's what we have to get to. Point blank, period. Because I don't know about y'all. I want to be able to eat at Passover. I don't want to be passed over. We're on the road to Passover for a reason. Because we read about two awakenings. There's two manner of people that could potentially be there. Because those that get passed over, those are the ones that didn't leave Egypt the first time. Stayed there. Right? Those are the people that would eat it unworthily. So that means that you cannot be a partaker in that covenant. Yeah. Facts. Facts. And I don't want no part in that. Y'all might. I don't want no part in that. Keep going. Did you? Oh, okay. Raised from the dead according to my gospel. Okay, my bad. Go ahead.
Wherein I suffer trouble as an evildoer, even unto bonds. But the word of the Most High is not bound.
You can't stop this truth. They've tried. They tried to control the awakening with these camps that a lot of them are government agents. And that's an unpopular opinion. A lot of them are. And they've been controlling the perception that other people have about Israelite people. Because most of us ain't nothing like that. I'm not about to be cussing nobody, no stranger down that I don't know. Talking crazy to them, telling them they going to die. You're the devil, your mother's the devil. I'm not, well, I don't know you. I can't judge you like that. That's not judging righteously at all. That is not effective communication. Point blank, period.
Therefore, I endure all things for the elect's sake, that they may also obtain the salvation which is in the Mashiach with eternal glory. It is a faithful saying, for if we be dead with him, we shall also live with him.
Right.
If we suffer, we shall also reign with him. If we deny him, he will deny us, man.
What?
He will deny us.
Yeah, I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to get denied by him.
Yeah.
That's why we're supposed to be mortifying our members daily, repenting, learning how to effectively communicate, seeking the Most High, asking him, what does he need from you? Because a lot of times we just ask, well, we ask him what we need, but do we ever ask him what he needs of us? What changes or what choices do we have to make, right? Go ahead.
If we believe not, yet he abideth faithful, he cannot deny himself.
Right.
Of these things put them in remembrance, charging them before the Lord, that they strive not about words to no profit, but to the subverting of the hearers.
So in this awakening, a lot of our people, or a lot of people in this awakening, start talking about stuff that doesn't matter. All of these crazy doctrines, all of this superfluous stuff. Well, what if this and what if that? Well, they said this and what if that? That's not helpful. Paul literally tells you not to do these things. But have you chewed the cud to really understand this? Have you become cloven footed of mind? Like, is this really a salvation issue? Because I should still be able to fellowship with my brother or with my sister in Mashiach. But a lot of the stuff that doesn't matter, people want to try to major in that. I'm like, that it don't matter. So you want to bring this stuff up to continue to cause dissension and confusion. Don't make no sense. You're not being mature. You're not being stable-minded, right? Keep going.
Study to shew thyself approved unto the Most High, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth.
So, June, I want you to tell me what that verse means. So that word "shew" just means show. Yeah, I know you know it, Young King. Let them try to answer it, though.
You got to study to show yourself to approve.
You got to prove yourself.
To God, yeah, you have to. Yeah, that's clear as day.
You study to show to be approved of the Most High.
You got to meditate in Scripture and make sure that you put in the work that needs to be done.
So, in other words, it means
that
it's.
Be ashamed of what you're doing by any means.
But
you got to be confident in what you're doing also.
Right. So all of that goes back to what we were effective communication.
Rightly dividing the word of the truth. Make sure that you're doing it in a righteous manner as well, and make sure that just to stand firm with what you're doing. Make sure you have those 2 or 3 witnesses to rightly divide this word of truth.
Yes. Yes. But it says, okay, study to show yourself approved of the Most High. So you study so the Most High is approving you, right? That's first thing. A workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. So that means that if you're going to study it, then that means that you are chewing the cud, right? You're meditating on the words of the Most High, and then He approves you from that. But that also means that you can rightly divide it. That's why we're talking about in spirit and in truth, which means that you do what? Which means that you are cloven footed, because you have the traction to where you don't fall off, right? To where you can keep moving in the way of the Most High. All of this stuff, because like he tells you, he says little thing. He said like, make sure you do it lawfully and this and that, and pray that the Most High gives you understanding. They didn't have a New Testament, so when he wrote this letter, you would have to know where in the Old Testament to go to find out the principles that he's talking about. But if you haven't chewed the cud, and if you're not cloven-minded, you'll never find it. You'll never even get that type of understanding. He's just trying to let you know everything that you're doing better be clean. The things that you're consuming, physically, spiritually, and emotionally, make sure that it's cloven-footed. Make sure that it chews the cud, that it gives you life, because the chewing of the cud is what gives you the ascension, is what gives you that awakening to everlasting life, right? That's what he's trying to get all of us to understand today, right? Keep on.
But shun profane and vain babblings, for they will increase unto more ungodly.
So he's harping back on what he was just talking about. Stuff that don't matter, stop bringing it up. It ain't got nothing to do with nothing. We're trying to come together to have a meeting to actually better ourselves, to become like of one mind or whatever, and praise the Most High. And you just want to talk about everything else.
Get you off track.
Get you distracted. And that's when you have to realize now, is this person doing it by accident, or are they a serpent in the way? That's when you have to have discernment in your lives, right? If every time you come around a person, they always trying to get you distracted, maybe the Most High is trying to see, like, are you going to be cloven-footed? Are you chewing the cud on my word? Are you having discernment, the spirit that I've given you? Something to think about. Because all this goes back to effective communication. Because when he's talking about vain babblings and stuff that don't matter, we're not even going to read all that. So you have to be clear and then correct with information. A lot of them, they're not. But you have to be complete, concise, and the main thing was concrete. You have to have confidence in the words that you're saying for the Most High because you've studied to show yourself approved to the Most High, right? Once you've done those things, you can avoid these issues because you're like, if I bring this up, the conversation is going to go nowhere. There's no point. It's not profitable. So maybe I shouldn't. But a lot of people, they don't chew the cud. They're not cloven minded. And you can tell that a lot of people literally be having demons in them when they can't stay on one subject for too long. They always try to get you this subject, that's a blah, blah, blah. It's like, wait a minute, hold on. Wait a minute, what were we talking about now? I don't even know. And they don't even realize it. But they're doing the Most High's work. So that way, if you have discernment because you've done your part, you'll be able to see it, be like, okay, I'm going to have to love you from a distance, brother. Man, no harm, no foul. I got nothing but love for you, right? Yeah.
Even if it's blood, you're going to have to, even you're trying to show them the way. And
yep.
They want to spat out this belligerentness, these nonsensical facts and stuff like that. Like, listen, I'm going to need you to take what I said, that you covered. Go get this scripture, go find it, read it, meditate.
Yeah.
If you can't do that,
then that's on you. I've planted the seed. That's all I can do. I can't make you do nothing.
I can't make you do it.
So. Yeah, because we know in some kind of crazy way, we're all related in some kind of crazy way. But we've been so far removed from everything that people think that your family, and I'm not one of these people, is your relatives. To me, blood is relative. But family are the ones that are going to do the will of our Father who's in heaven. Because that's what Mashiach said. You know, who is my mother and my brother? Except those are going to do the will of the Father. Like, that's what being of one mind really is. Moving forward together. That's what it's about. It's not about ego. It's not about favoritism. It's not about coveting anything. It's moving together. And we're going to learn more about that eventually. But we're going to finish this up. Let's finish 2 Timothy. And always got to be courteous to anybody that you interact with, period. Is that mic on? Did you turn it off again?
No, it's still
oh, okay. There you go. Go ahead, Jamal.
And their word will eat as doeth a canker, of whom is Hymenaeus and Philetus.
So I got a question. What does it mean that their word will eat as a canker?
Yeah, I don't know what a canker is.
I mean, it could be. So I actually looked this up. So it says the canker is like a gangrene, right? And that it increases unto more ungodliness. As a canker or gangrene eats away the flesh.
Like cancer.
Yes. It's like an uncontrolled, when free radicals go uncontrolled, that's when cancer is created, literally. Eats the flesh. So does such teaching eat away the faith. So you got to be careful with the word of those people that are literally snakes in the way. And all they want to do, their only mission is to literally get you off the path, to make you not be cloven footed, which makes you lose your traction in the Most High.
If you weak-minded, yeah.
Huh? Yeah, weak-minded, but the enemy, he'll have, it could be, it'll part the hoof, it'll chew the cud, but it won't be cloven footed. It'll barely be something off. But that's how you know it's unclean. I can't deal with it. And that's what gets people lost in the way. That's what gets them off the path. That's why they don't have traction, because they're not cloven footed. Right? Keep going.
Who concerning the truth have erred, saying that the resurrection is past already, and overthrow the faith of some.
So, and that doctrine is called preterism. But keep going.
Nevertheless, the foundation of Yahweh standeth sure, having this seal, the Most High knoweth them that are his. And let everyone that nameth the name of Yeshua depart from iniquity.
Right. Get away from sin. Leave it alone.
But in a great house there are not only vessels of gold and of silver, but also of wood and of earth, and some to honor and some to dishonor.
So which vessel do y'all want to be a part of?
I ain't doing no wood and earth.
Okay.
At all.
Which vessel do I want to be a part of?
But in a great great house there are many.
And these vessels are golds and silvers.
All right.
And woods and of earths and stuff.
Well, which one of them do you want to be a part of?
Which ones I want to be a part of?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, listen, the only vessel I'm trying to be a part of
Is
is
the Most High.
Right.
I don't
But
need to go to the
But he can
silver.
go himself.
okay, so but these vessels are literally used in service in the assembly or in the temple, right?
Yeah.
So gold and silver, it takes a lot longer for them to decay than wood, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wood can ride out with just.
Right. So some to honor and some to dishonor, right?
Okay.
Right. So then read this for the full understanding.
If a man therefore purge himself from these, he shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified and meet for the master's use, and prepared unto every good work.
So purging, forever purging, everyday purging. You don't always have the right attitude towards your wife. You know, maybe you don't have to always have that right attitude towards your son, and vice versa. You got to purge, because if you're wronging her, she's a part of the covenant also. So then you're wrong. It's like you're wronging yourself, because that's the other half of your soul, but you're also wronging the Most High's vessel, right? So this is all about chewing the cud and repenting. Confessing sins is about purging, purifying yourself. So when the times come again, you're in the algorithm for salvation. And that's the algorithm that we all want to be a part of, right? Keep going.
Flee also youthful lusts, but follow righteousness, faith, charity, peace.
With who? With who?
With them that call on the Most High out of a pure heart.
Because you remember we were talking about, am I my brother's keeper? You know, preferring one another, knowing those that labor among you, knowing those that are really a part of the body, choosing them, right? Now, don't get me wrong. If at all possible, you have to live peaceably with everybody. But especially with those that are walking the walk with you, you have to choose them. You have to make that choice. These other things, these trivial matters that we be getting into that really don't matter, we all got family, friends, and loved ones that are not preparing for what's coming. And they're gonna want a handout.
Yep.
But I'm telling you, especially as men, as fathers, our first call is to what? Protect our families, our immediate families. And I don't know if y'all like me, but outside of that, it's about the people that's a part of this assembly. The other outsiders, as a matter of fact, I'm glad we said that. I need you to tell us about your dream that you just had.
What day was? I forget what day it was, but we were in Muskogee, and we were here at the assembly, and some type of disaster or martial law or something bad happened all over. And of course, us going to this assembly, we were already here, you know, because we got stuff stocked up and all that good stuff. So everybody who comes here was here. And then like, it was so many people who couldn't go home, couldn't find food, couldn't find shelter. So, you know, us being kind-hearted people, we allowed a lot of people to come into this assembly and be here with us, get shelter, get food, you know, all that good stuff. But out of nowhere, everybody that I knew in this assembly, that I actually knew from going here, all of us were getting stabbed in the back from the people we were helping. And these were all strangers we did not know. You know what I'm saying? So, and that was like, it was a scary, scary dream. Like, everybody was screaming.
And you said
everybody got stabbed.
And you said it wasn't just once
It was
either.
continual. Like, everybody was screaming in different places, from outside the assembly, inside, the bathrooms, everywhere. Everybody was getting stabbed, and I know, including myself. And these people, I didn't recognize none of them. None of them. And like, I woke up, like, I wasn't crying, but like, I was scared. I had to make sure it wasn't like real life, like it was an actual dream. Like, it was bad. Like, it was bad. And it all stems from us being kind-hearted people trying to help others.
And not having discernment. Because again, it's about our immediate families first and this assembly. So wherever we decide to set up shop for whatever that we've been talking about, that's for us. That's not to be like going out to everybody. Point blank period. They ain't got no business knowing about what we got going.
Not everybody can be helped.
Exactly.
And we gotta make sure that whoever we do decide to let in, like, they gotta be rooted in the Most High, the ways of the Most High, they keeping the commandments, they are about that, at least, and they're trying to do that.
Right.
If they're not about that life, you gotta keep moving.
Right. Right.
They ain't bringing no value. Like,
Yeah, you gotta add value.
By the wild man, try going away.
Yeah, no.
Go yonder.
Mm-hmm. And then keep going, because look, Paul, he keeps hammering the same type of stuff. Read the next verse, 23.
Flee also youthful. Y'all read that one?
23.
Okay. But foolish and unlearned questions avoid, knowing that they do gender strife.
Stay on subject.
Yeah.
Stop with the foolishness.
Yeah.
Cut the malarkey. Cut it out. Talk about things that are edifying.
Quit trying to start stuff.
Yeah. Want to be starting something, right? Stop all that. Got to be starting. But no, you gotta cut that out. Because the time for the play is over with. I'm trying to tell you. If that stuff at the UN didn't like put y'all antennas up, I don't know what's going to put y'all antennas up.
Yeah.
I don't know. But we're almost done. Go ahead.
And the servant of the Most High must not strive, but be gentle unto all men, apt to teach, patient.
So that means you have to be a skillful in teaching and prepared and ready to do it.
And be patient with it.
Again, especially us as men, when you talk about this truth, you don't want some stranger teaching your families. You don't want that, because you can't vouch for none of that, right? So this will be the last slide we'll do, I think.
In meekness, instructing those that oppose themselves, if the Most High pre-adventure will give them repentance to the acknowledging of the truth.
So everything that we have to do has got to be with the spirit of the Most High, which is in meekness. It's not in overconfidence and arrogance like we've been talking about. You got to know how to approach people. You have to be approachable and coachable at all times. That's how you can effectively communicate. We don't even realize when you read this letter from Paul, he's tell people, hey, you have to actually communicate effectively if you're going to be teaching somebody or trying to convert or subvert somebody, right? You have to do that. You have to take the time and realize or learn the skills that's needed to be able to move forward in that walk, right? Make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
And that they may recover themselves out of the snare of the devil, who are taken captive by him at his will.
And by you using effective communication, coming in through the spirit of the Most High the right way, you're able to get people unsnared. You're able to wake people up, for them to be able to take the blinders off and see the truth. Your approach has to change or shift. It's not always the other person, because the most important person in communication is the what?
The listener.
Sender. It's the sender, right? Right? But we're always supposed to be using active listening. But we are going to stop there. Yeah, we're going to stop there. Did that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You mind praying us out? Yep. Come on.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you today for everybody coming together for Shabbat. We thank you for the word that we learned today. I pray we all use discernment and be cloven footed and have understanding in your word, Most High, to do the right things, so we can all go to the heaven. I pray that everybody has a good weekend. I also want to pray for the Parsons family. Miss Parsons, her mother, she passed away. So Most High, please keep her family in your life, help them through this grieving time. And also, I want to thank you for my father having a successful surgery.
Thank you, Father.
Yesterday, Most High. We pray that he gets better and better each day.
Thank you, Father.
All these blessings we ask. In Yeshua's name I pray. Amen.
Amen. And we also want to put a prayer covering up over Brandon Carrington and his family. Like you said, over our Father, over all those that are members of YAH'S Assembly, Father, locally, overseas, wherever they may be. All those that are a part of this ministry, Father, we just ask for you to give us perfect health and vitality. We thank you for strengthening us with your word and for giving us a discernment, Father, to be able to tell who's friend and who's foe. We thank you for protecting us and keeping us in all of our ways, Father. We thank you, Father, for keeping us cloven footed, Father, and blessing us and teaching us how to properly chew the cud so we will not be deceived and so that we can awaken to everlasting life, Father. All these things we do ask and pray in the name of your beloved Son, Yahushua HaMashiach. Amen. So again, this was You Better Be Cloven Footed. I am Yehuda. This is YAH'S Assembly. So please subscribe, hit the notification bell, like and share our content. And as always, until next time,
Shalom.
shalom, family.